Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing very well. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the content that I'm putting out on the regular. So within today's video, I'm actually speaking about a video that I posted this time last year of two YouTube sensations taking it out in a boxing match, ending up as a majority draw. So we come around 12 months later where the fight is just around the corner and it's going to be huge, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm super excited for it. There is a whole heap of data and a whole heap of information we can take off it and see where things were back then to where things are now. So previously, 12 months ago, the king of YouTube over in the UK versus the king of YouTube in the US, KSI versus Logan Paul, they had around about, one had about 15 million followers, whereas the other had about 14.5. So still then, they had some significant following. They've had a huge community. They must have been doing something right. Back then, there was no real broadcasters looking at it, or mainstream broadcasters at least. And these guys just put it together off their own back. And if we have a look at the metrics, number one, they sold out the Manchester Arena, which holds about 15,000 seats immediately. And number two, the big one, they had 1.2 million pay-per-view buys all throughout the world. So you can imagine it was just a huge deal. But people in the mainstream media, or people just in general, didn't really know what was going on. Whereas the youth or the younger generation were really, really excited about what was happening. Fast forward 12 months later, we've got the likes of Eddie Hearn, who is a boxing promoter who looks after the likes of Anthony Joshua and Tony Bellew. And for those who understand, Tony Bellew is a huge Everton supporter, and as you can see behind me, that there is it's an official members kit for people who are members of the Everton FC. So I'm a huge Everton supporter, and that's why I know Tony Bellew. And if you guys want to look back when I was younger, between soccer and rugby league, I used to think that soccer was a completely crap sport. Well, you can see I've completely eaten my own words because I'm a member of a football club. So funny that. Anyway, as I was saying beforehand, the likes of Eddie Hearn, who rubbished it before, he goes, look at this, it's a joke, it's disrespectful to the boxing community and to boxing in general, and he didn't want a bar of it back then. However, once he saw the analytics, once he saw the data, and once he saw the sheer numbers online on social media just pushing it and looking at it, he knew something was up. He knew that the next fight that was going to happen, he was going to be a part of it. So, fast forward 12 months down the track, and look who's promoting it. Eddie Hearn. This guy again is getting a heap of stick from the boxing community, again from the mainstream media. However, there's actually a lot more people jumping on board now. Again, because they see the sheer size of these two entities on social media and just how they've got such a mass following. If we have a look at who was broadcasting it last year, not one main channel. This time around, however, you've got the likes of Sky Sports, BBC, DAZN, and other big broadcasters out there really wanting to understand, what is this thing about YouTube, what is this thing about social media, and what is this thing that's happening currently. Better yet, they've actually got two world fights happening in the undercard of the main event, which is, again, weird in itself. You've got two YouTubers, two huge entities headlining just some world-class boxers. And these world-class boxers who are in the undercard understand there's this huge untapped community that they can be a part of and hopefully infiltrate and actually get a lot more followers and a lot more fans on the back of their brands. So you can see people are slowly but surely starting to become aware of how powerful social media is. And more importantly, where the demographic of their audience, where their fans are, and as we all understand where the youth of today is, actually, they're quite heavily involved online. So again, we can actually see certain people, especially the big players in the world, actually slowly but surely moving across and seeing what people are doing online. So we can actually see literally the shift in movement. So again, the question for you guys out there is, if you've got these big entities, you've got the likes of Eddie Hearn, who's eating, Alexa stop, who've actually seen, pivoted and changed and found that, what, I've got to pay a lot more attention to what's happening here because there's huge numbers, then hey, why can't the average business owner just like yourself, take advantage of that and use that? A really cool story that I heard as well was a sports broadcaster who was speaking about how he asked his son this time last year, who's going to win the fight? And I think it was I think it was a big world-class fight. But his son came back and said, hey, KSI for sure. The father was like, what? Anyway, you can understand that there's a huge disconnect between what the mainstream media show versus and what the youth of today are actually consuming online. So again, we've got to make sure that we understand as business owners to see where the shift in movement's going, where the shift in change is going. And hey, if you've got a kid that's around the age of 8 upwards, ask him. See who's going to win the fight between KSI and Logan Paul. Anyway, I'm super excited for this. I cannot wait for this fight. And just for me, these two have played a significant role in terms of how I create content. And again, you can always find inspiration from everyone. So although everyone has their own downfalls, everyone has their own controversies, you can always find the light and actually take every little bit of good from that. Anyway, I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys do tune into this fight because again, this fight is going to be huge. I hope you guys got some insight into what's happening below the scenes, below the surface, so to speak, how this is such huge attention online, but not necessarily on the mainstream media yet, and being sure that you're kept aware with what's going on throughout social media. hey, if these big players are actually seeing the change and shifting and moving towards online, you guys should be doing the same thing as well. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. If you're a follower between KSI and Logan Paul, let me too know who's going to win the fight. And as well, if you guys want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hope you guys are well. No doubt I will speak to you guys very soon after the fight. Peace.